Hello sustainable growers, this is Jonathan from Melbourne Aquaponics. Today we're going to talk about the best position for your aquaponics setup in your backyard. So you know that we always say aquaponics is a very good way and very sustainable way of producing some food. And this is definitely right, you know. Some people say that it produces twice as much food as a classic garden. And the reason why is because in a classic garden, the plants are limited in terms of nutrients. So they have to develop some very strong and deep roots to get access to the nutrients that are into the soil and also sometimes to get access to the water. In aquaponics, the plants have always access to the water and always access to the nutrients that are released into the water. Therefore, the only limitation for the plants is the access to the sunlight and obviously the temperature. So it's basically the external environment, the sun exposition and the wind. You know, the wind, if you got a lot of wind, it can basically decrease the temperature of your setup. If you have a bit less wind, the temperature is a bit more stable. So when you put your aquaponics setup in your garden, that's something to keep in mind. If you want to maximize the growth of the vegetables, you want to put your aquaponics setup in an area where the sunlight is important, is strong enough, is high. So from a general point of view, that's what I would recommend, is to put your aquaponics setup in a sunny area. If the sun is very high and very strong, then it can burn the leaves. In this case, you will have to cover the top of the setup with a little shade or something, just to make sure that the sunlight is not too strong, right? It can be a problem depending on where you live if the sun is very, very intense. If you live in a country where the sun is not too strong, you can just put the setup full sun. It's not an issue, and you're going to have a very good growth of vegetables. Now, something also very important to understand is that the fish that you're going to have in your aquaponics setup needs to be adapted to the temperature of water that you're going to have. So if you have some fish that don't accept a very high temperature of water, such as trout, for example, if you are in a warm country, you don't want to put your setup in the full sun, otherwise during summer you may lose your trout. You know that trout, rainbow trout, when the temperature arrives around 23, 24 degrees, they start to basically struggle to stay alive, to breathe, and they can simply die. So if you put your setup full sun in a warm country, the temperature of the water is going to increase and the fish may simply die and you're going to lose all your crop. So just be careful at this very specific point. But now if you got fish such as carps, tilapia, or a lot of other classic fish that accept a very wide range of temperature, a high temperature is going to basically boost their growth as well. So it's good to put your setup in full sun if you got those type of fish. But just check basically the preferendum of temperature of the species of fish that you got or that you want to have in your aquaponics setup. Some people think that they will maintain the temperature of the water cool by keeping the fish tank in a cold area, in the shed, and exposing the grow bed in full sun for the vegetables. The problem by doing that is that when you expose the grow bed full sun, the water that is coming in the grow bed is going to raise as well in temperature, and when it returns into the fish tank, it's going to basically increase the temperature of the whole system. So there is no real way to basically manage two different sets of temperature for the grow bed and the fish tank. They are very linked. Then there are some possibilities, you know, to exchange the temperature, but it's very, very complex things, and most of the time we don't use it in classic aquaponics. So generally you can imagine that the temperature of your setup is going to be the same. The temperature of the water is going to be the same in the grow bed and in the fish tank. If you have a greenhouse, that's definitely the best thing to do, to put your aquaponics setup in the greenhouse, because here you're going to increase the quantity of light available for your plants. You are not going to really increase the quantity, but the thing is that when the sunlight is going to go through the glass of the greenhouse or to the plastic, the sun ray is going to be spread everywhere. So basically the light is going to be diffused everywhere in the aquaponics setup, and the plants are going to be able to grow in all directions, while in a classic aquaponics setup the plants are in a competition and they all try to grow in height. So putting your setup in a greenhouse is going to be better from a sun exposition point of view, And also it's going to be better for the temperature because you're going to increase the temperature of the whole system. Just be careful of the species of fish that you're going to have in your aquaponics setup. I hope you enjoyed the video. If it's the case, please give me a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet. You can have access to a free guide to build your own aquaponics setup into the description of this video. It's a 6-step process that is going to give you a lot of information and it's going to build your skill to build your aquaponics setup in good conditions. I really hope you enjoy the video. See you in the next one. Bye-bye. Don't forget to get your free gift from this screen. You can also leave me a comment below the video, subscribe to the channel and see my last video. I really hope to see you soon and I wish you a fantastic success with aquaponics. Have a good crop!